All right, hello, beautiful people. We're back with part 3 of co-parenting with a narcissist. Like I said before, I had to spend several days, not by choice, with my co-parent. He is a narcissist, and when you're co-parenting with a narcissist, it's more like parallel parenting and not co-parenting. And even if you have to co-parent or parallel parent, you need to make sure that you maintain your boundaries. Your boundaries are very important. One thing that a narcissist does not like, it's like they're allergic to it, is boundaries. They like to be in control. They like to feel like they're in charge and controlling and running everything. A lot of times they are very confrontational and aggressive, and it's not even about whatever the situation is. It's all about control and feeling like they're running things. They like to, just be in charge and be in control of everything, and it doesn't even have to make sense. For example, with me being the primary parent, that's been the sole parent ever since they decided to dip out on us 2 years ago. We kind of have a system, we kind of have a routine in place. My baby's birthday was a couple of days ago, and a lot of times when I want to give him a treat, I will take them to the as I was saying, a lot of times I will take them to the donut shop, and I don't feed them meat, but I will get them a croissant. They love the baby likes the cheese and egg croissant, and my oldest, he likes the cheese croissant. So what I suggested to my co-parent was, hey, since it's his birthday, why don't you, instead of fixing him a regular grilled cheese sandwich with regular bread, why don't you fix them a cheese croissant and an egg and cheese croissant since it's his birthday. And he proceeded to go right over there to the stove and completely ignore what I said and fix the grilled cheese and left the croissant sitting right over here on the counter. That's just one example of, what it's like when you are having to communicate with a narcissist, because they will ask you, like he literally asked me, I think I left that part out. He asked me what should he fix them. So a lot of times he'll ask me what should he do or what do I think about something. Like they'll literally ask you for a suggestion, and then even after you give them a suggestion, they'll completely ignore it and do the opposite of whatever your suggestion was, or they'll pick apart whatever your suggestion is and try to, find something wrong with it. So I've learned to, a lot of times I don't even ask or suggest anything. I just keep my mouth shut, but that's not healthy either. So this is why I'm making this series, because I have to get all of this out. Basically everything I have to hold in when he's around, I have to get it out some kind of way. So this is one of the things that my therapist suggested. She suggested that I get these things out. Now, I wanted this one to be part 3 to be about our different parenting styles. He thinks yelling is parenting, but I'm breaking that cycle. I was raised by older people, and they also used to yell a lot, and yelling is a trigger for me, and that's the reason why I don't like being yelled at to this day. Is because I was yelled at a lot whenever during my childhood, and I don't want my children to have to recover from their childhood. Like, I maintain a peaceful, calm environment for them. I mean, the same type of classroom I maintain as an educator, that's the same type of home I maintain for my children, because I know that their childhood will affect them whenever they become adults. And I also have to remind him when he comes around, don't speak negatively about me. I don't speak negatively about him when he's not around, and I definitely don't do it to his face. I had to come up with like a code name for him, that way my children won't know who I'm referring to. If I ever have to, say anything, I have a code name for him, so they don't know that he's the person I'm referring to. But I have to remind him of that when he comes around, that you only like pop in every now and again when you decide you want to be a parent. You're really a part-time parent, and you pop in every now and again. I'm 24/7, 365. I have to be here for them all the time. And you can't come in with your yelling and your dramatics and your, negativity and your aggression and try to, shake up, the calm, peaceful environment that I maintain for them. I have to be calm. Even when he's yelling, even when he's frustrated, he feels like they need more discipline. I do more of, it's more like a conscious type of parenting where I believe in natural consequences. I believe in asking them a lot of questions. I believe in, talking to them, and guiding them to make the right decision. I mean, I want them to do the right thing because it's the right thing, not because they're afraid of me. Not because I'm yelling at them, not because they're afraid of me, because that doesn't teach them anything. Hitting them doesn't teach them anything. All it teaches them is that it's okay to hit. So if I'm teaching them it's not okay to hit, but then I turn around and hit them, that's confusing to them. And they'll also feel like that's the type of relationship that they're supposed to have when they become adults with people, is that it's okay to hit. It's okay to be aggressive. It's okay to yell. It's okay to be combative. And that's not the tone. That's not the foundation that I'm setting up for them. So I explain that to him, when he comes around, he can't bring that with him. And that is where the question comes in my mind. And also I talk with my therapist about is that, am I doing more harm than good, by allowing him to come around like he does? Because he pops in and he pops out, and then he brings all this negativity and chaos with him when he does pop in. And then I have to do the repair, after he pops out. Then I'm the one that's left to repair everything. He wants to change, with him being a narcissist and him want to do the opposite of everything. I say talk, and I'm doing conscious parenting. He believes in the yelling and the hitting and the forcing type thing. He wants to treat them like they're pets, and I'm like, no, they're people. They're human beings. They have feelings. They're going to remember. They're going to have memories, and you want them to have positive memories of you whenever they grow up. You don't want every memory they have of you to be negative. I'm not parenting from anger. I'm parenting to heal. I'm also teaching them how to regulate their emotions and not to fear me. I know that I'm their safe space. When I was growing up, I wasn't allowed to show any type of emotion unless it was happiness. They basically control everything when it came to my childhood. I wasn't allowed to be angry. I couldn't, you couldn't yell it. You definitely couldn't raise your voice. Even if you took a breath the wrong way, it was considered, disrespect. So I'm very big on teaching my children, because they're, like I said, they're 4 and 6. So I'm big on teaching them the definitions of words, so they know what respect means. Because that a lot of times, we feel like we're being disrespected as adults, and it's not that we're being disrespected. Someone's making you angry, and you have to deal with that anger. And it's not okay to parent from anger. You need to parent from a place of love and a place of, so I don't parent like that. They just finished eating, and I don't like for them to hear, anything I have to say, about their other parent, because, I want them to, feel proud of him, despite, the situation. They still need to be proud of their other parent. You don't want them to ever, feel like you had anything negative to say about their other parent, because, to them, he's still their hero. No matter, despite everything that has happened, he's still, you still want them to have their dad, as their hero. So like I said, I refuse to raise children. I refuse to raise them, to shut down and not show any type of emotion. I want them to be able to express it with me, and then I help them learn how to regulate their emotions. There are a lot of adults, including their dad, and a lot of my family members that are males who don't know how to regulate their emotions. Either they flash out or they shut down. And I'm still working on that as an adult, because I wasn't allowed to express myself as a child. I'm still working on, regulating my emotions. Either I, a lot of times, don't say enough, or I don't say anything at all, instead of expressing myself. So I'm still learning that as well. And what I say to them, anytime he flashes out when he's around, I just say, you know what, Dad is still learning. We're all learning. We're learning together. So hopefully, you have learned something from listening. And hopefully I can learn something from you guys. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the encouragement. And I will be back with part 4. See you guys later.